Minister in the Prime Minister's Office, Mr. Chan Singh, and our special guest Minister for Communications and Information, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim. Mr. Chan Singh, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim, Minister for Communications and Information, community leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and a very good afternoon to one and all. It is my honor today, to be your master of ceremony for today. 50 years, a journey of hope, aspiration, sacrifices, achievements, and success. Berdayung sampan menuju ke suatu arah. 50 tahun ke hadapan, alhamdulillah, pencapaian kami agak menyelam. Now, let this video presentation take us through that journey. Let the journey begins. Dipersilakan.
And the unity of these two territories. Generous of people connected by geography, economics, and ties of kinship.
Mendaki yang sebenarnya ialah meningkatkan taraf hidup dan pendidikan semua, bukan hanya untuk sebahagian kecil yang berupaya untuk maju ke hadapan.
Majulah, 50 years of Malay Muslim community in Singapore, traces the evolution of the Singapore Malay Muslim community and its progress in the fields of education, socio-economy, politics, and in other significant areas such as literature, music, the arts, and of course, religion. It contains articles from 41 different distinguished contributors with different perspectives and style of reflections. It is my pleasure now to invite Professor Phua Kok Koo, Chairman of the World Scientific Publishing Company, to address us. Professor Phua,
Welcome to this afternoon launch. Guest of honors, Minister Chan Singh, Special Guest of Honor Yaakob Ibrahim, and ex-President Patton. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In celebration of the nation building 50 years, World Scientific published and going to publish about 26 volumes in different areas like science, technology, environment, culture, education. We have 4 volumes on different culture and race in Singapore. The book on 50 years of Chinese community, edited by Pang Qingliang, is already been published. And this book on Malay Muslim community is the second book. It's edited by Mr. Rashid, former Senior Minister of State in Foreign Affairs. I'm sure this is a very unique and important book because to our knowledge so far there isn't any detailed and independent book about Malay and Muslim community in Singapore. And the third volume is on Indian community. And the fourth volume is in Eurasian, 50 years relation in Singapore. The reason we want to publish this 4 volume is because we want to tell the world Singapore is a very successful multicultural, multi-race and multi-religion country. We are going to use, World Scientific is going to use our 10 overseas office to promote all these 26 volumes, to let the world know what is our achievement for the last 50 years. In this connection, we would like very much to thank all the contributors in this volume. I believe there are about 47 contributors in this volume, which is about more than 700 pages. So World Scientific is very proud to have this volume published, as we think this is a contribution to our country. Finally, I would like to thank all the contributors, of course, our guest of honor, special guest of honors, and President Nathan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Hua. Ladies and gentlemen, this publication is co-edited by 2 distinguished individuals who themselves are part of this historic journey. Our former Senior Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Zainul Abidin Rashid, and fellow at ICS Yusof Ishak Institute, Dr. Nur Shahid Saad. It is my greatest pleasure now to invite Mr. Zainul Abidin Rashid to share with us a few words. Mr. Zainul, please.
Thank you, Riz. Our guest of honor, Minister Chan Jin Singh, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office and also Secretary General of the LCC. Our very special guest, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim, Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs, Minister of Communications and Information, and also Minister in charge of cyber security. I hope Minister is okay. He just came back, from halfway around the world, from America to Europe. Must be suffering from jet lag now. And of course, our 6th President, Mr. S.R. Nathan, for making time to join us. Dr. Hua, Chairman of World Scientific Publishing, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Selamat datang. Welcome to the official launch of the SG50 book, Majulah, 50 Years of the Malay Muslim Community in Singapore. Now allow me to celebrate your kind presence and support the Malay way. You know what it's like, right? Sejarah Temasek indah permai. Kota singa mengaum ria. Berbilang bangsa aman dan damai. Majulah kita bersama berbahagia. Thank you very much for gracing this book launch, this book SG50 and Beyond, which is very special to us. The last 12 months have shown that there is much to celebrate for Singapore's Golden Jubilee. Similarly, for the Malay Muslim community. World Scientific also recognizes that. Thank you, Dr. Puah, for your leadership and wisdom. Among the 26 SG books WS produces for our Golden Jubilee, Dr. Puah and his WS team has chosen to include one on the Malay Muslim community. Personally, I am very grateful to Dr. Puah for the privilege to edit this book, and also, of course, to my good friend, Mr. George Yeo, who recommended me to help Dr. Puah. And knowing how challenging the task could be, especially with the time frame given, I chose to work with a young scholar, Dr. Nur Shahil Sanad, fresh from PhD. Normally when they are fresh back from PhD, they're very hardworking. As the co-editor. Thank you, Dr. Nur Shahil, for all the energy, the refreshing sparring, and scholarly checks and networks to give the book the standard it deserves. I would also like to actually acknowledge the presence of some of our distinguished excellencies who are here. Ambassador from the United States, Mr. Wagner, and also Ambassador from Egypt, Fatma, and also our new Ambassador from Pakistan. Thank you very much for joining us, and also Mr. India. Thank you all for coming. Thank you also to all our contributors. I must add, who have done so gratis and from their heart for making this book possible. In the light of the spirit of their passion and contribution, Dr. Shahil and I have decided to donate all the royalties of the sales of the book to charity and or projects that promote education and multiculturalism. Both Dr. Shahil and I are also grateful for the support given by the WS staff, particularly Mr. Raimi Wahab in Majulah, Karima Shamsuddin, and researcher I.D. Rahim, the back of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, history, geography, politics, education, religion, culture, media, literature, the arts, music, community organizations, leaders, icons, and the ordinary folks have all come together under one cover to share, report, and reflect on the principles, processes, and the challenges faced by the Malay Muslim community during the last 50 years and beyond. Official mindshare, policies, community concerns, personal reflections, heartaches, even frustrations, blend together in this book to give readers a better understanding about the Malay Muslim community of Singapore. If you are really, and I mean really interested in understanding the Malay Muslim community, this is a must read. And this is not a commercial. This is because we love our Singapore. We need to understand each other better. Indeed, we need to trust each other better. From views of past and present prime ministers, ministers in charge of Muslim affairs, non-Malay ministers, scholars and academics, ordinary citizens, plus Malay Muslims contributing in different walks of life in many forms and levels, locally and globally, all captured in the near 700 pages, and that's a lot to share. This is not to say that this is exhaustive or the all book about the community, for no book can ever be that. But we hope that it will inspire more people and efforts to share, write, and reflect on those matters of concern and importance to the Malay community and thus to our Singapore. I don't want to give away too much, we still got 7 books. But let me end with an anecdote to share with you. In a conversation with our founding Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, I once asked him, so why not build a nice building for the Mendaki headquarters? we were given an old school to work from. I told him that when I passed Shenton Way, I noticed names, Chinese names, Western names, Indian names, but not Malay name to any of the building there. I told Mr. Lee that the Malay Muslim community could do with self-esteem to boost, to do better self-esteem, to boost its confidence and motivations then, to catch up and to excel. I think you can guess Mr. Lee's reaction. He gave me a very serious, stern look and said, "What for?" He said, "Look at the PAP. Where is our headquarters?" At that time, the PAP has a very small building at Napier Road on rental. And he said, "We don't build ourselves, we build our people." Mr. Lee's sense of purpose and proportion was real and a good reminder how the Malay Muslim community fixes its challenges. No quick fix, he emphasized to the Malay Muslim organizations. Painstakingly, we organize ourselves to self-help, together with the government support and relevant policies, step by step, program by program, and I think Ms. Yaakob will be able to tell you a lot more on that. And as a community, we progress, but not without challenges. Hard work, perseverance, self-reliance, and determination are some key words for the community. That's what the book is all about. Whether in education, religion, gotong royong, in facing competition, locally and globalization, and making a success of our multiculturalism, it is about the spirit of Majulah, moving forward and to flourish. That's the spirit of Singapore too. That's the spirit which was imbibed in our first president, President Yusof Ishak, and also in the national anthem, Majulah Singapura by Pak Zubir Said. Two key icons which the Malay Muslim community would like Singapore to be reminded of. Contribution of the Malay Muslim community for all of us Singaporeans. Read all about it in Majulah. That leads me now to once again and forever thank Mr. Chan Chun Seng for gracing the book launch. We know how busy ministers and MPs are on weekends. And also Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim as our special guest for making time for the book launch and for us and for all, and his never-ending guidance in our efforts to uplift the community. And also, of course, it reminds me of Mr. Nathan when I was chairman of the Malay Heritage Center and we wanted to produce a book on Malay heritage. With just one single lunch, Mr. Nathan was able to gather a group of people, multicultural, multi-religious, to raise about $300,000 for that book, which we are proud of, the Malay Heritage of Singapore. And Madam Eileen is here, who edited the book. So we would also like to take this opportunity to say that our thoughts and prayers are also with Minister Heng Swee Keat as we wish him speedy recovery. Thank you all for your kind presence, support, and for upholding the spirit of Majulah. Majulah Singapura. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for a very inspiring delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I now would like to invite the co-editor of the book, Dr. Roshani Saad, to deliver his speech. Dr. Roshani, please.
Thank you, Miss. Guest of honor, Mr. Chan Chun Seng, Minister of Minister's Office and Secretary General of the National Trades Union Congress. Special guests, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim, Minister of Communications and Information, Minister in charge of Cybersecurity and Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs, Mr. S. Nathan, the 6th President of Singapore, community leaders, His Excellencies, ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and salam sejahtera. Thank you for joining us at the launch of Majulah, 50 years of Malay Muslim community in Singapore. I would like to take this opportunity to thank World Scientific Publishing, especially Professor Phua Hock Koo, for making this project possible. I would also like to acknowledge the wonderful team I worked with. Thank you, Mr. Zainul, Raimi, Karima, and Aidi, not forgetting all the contributors. It was Mr. Zainul who invited me to be part of this project. I was writing a book on the late President J. Yusof Ishak and had numerous discussions with Mr. Zainul, who kindly gave his input. In one of our discussions, he proposed we co-edit a book which discusses the achievements of the Malay Muslim community in the last 50 years. Since Mr. Zainul has given a sneak preview of the book, I would not want to repeat what he has said. We did our best to include as many aspects about the community, but we confess that there will certainly be gaps. A 700-page book will not be able to cover the community's history, challenges, and achievements in the last 50 years. We would probably need a third volume. For me, working on this book is a learning journey. The community's history cannot be separated from Singapore's history. Moreover, to have a better sense about the Malay Muslim community in Singapore, one has to understand the Nusantara or the Malay Archipelago, Malayan colonial history, and nationalist politics of 1940s and 1950s. I authored several articles in this book, 2 of which are about the late President J. Yusof Ishak and Pak Zubir Said, our national icons. Their involvement in national politics predates 1959, the year Singapore obtained self-rule from British. Familiarizing ourselves with history can help us better understand the roots of problems and appreciate how our pioneers overcame challenges. Being part of this project, I enjoyed the discussions with the team. Fresh from academia, I confess that I can be idealistic, especially when discussing community's future. At times, I can be a little impatient. I want change to happen overnight. But through co-editing this book, I have a better sense of history, why our leaders make certain decisions, and the origins of our institutions. This encourages me to rethink some of my ideas. I enjoyed having conversations with Mr. Zainul, a veteran leader in the Malay Muslim community. At times we disagree on the issues, but he is kind enough to accept differences and we respect them. This is the spirit that we adopted in this book. Contributors are free to express their opinions and disagree with official narratives, but must do so respectfully and responsibly. This book showcases writings by and about our veteran leaders, professionals, artists, literary giants, and youths. Our biggest struggle is how to present this book, how to present these vast materials as a coherent publication. Ultimately, this book not only describes the past, but looks into the future. Today, Malay's Muslims are not only making their mark at the national level, but global as well. This book is not the end of the conversation about the Malay Muslim community. It is the beginning as we chart our way forward towards SG 100. Since Mr. Zainul began with a pantun, let me conclude my speech with a pantun as well. Alunan serunai menusuk kalbu, mengubah hati, membelai jiwa. Majulah bangsaku, bangkitkan semangatmu, Bersama-sama kita makmurkan Singapura. Once again, thank you, our guest of honor, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, and special guest, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim, for gracing this book launch. Thank you also to Mr. Nathan for being here, and thank you all for supporting this project. Thank you.
Terima kasih Dr. Roshari. Thank goodness I prepared my pantun on the spot. This is my honor now to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Prime Minister's Office, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, to address us.
Mr. Nathan, Minister Yaakob, Excellencies, distinguished guests, friends from the Malay Muslim community, fellow Singaporeans, a very good afternoon to all of you. Initially, Suiket was supposed to be the guest of honor of this event, but as all of us know, Suiket was unfortunately taken ill, and we wish him all the very best. But I must say that knowing Suiket, I know that he would really like to have come here to give his support and affirmation to what the Malay Muslim community has done in Singapore and for Singapore. So thank you so much for all the contributions to Singapore, and thank you so much for all the good wishes to Suiket and his family at this time. Let me first also congratulate Zaini and Dr. Noor Sharul and all the contributors for making this volume possible. It might be a small effort, as Zainul would humbly say, but it is nevertheless an important contribution to the history and heritage of our Malay Muslim community in Singapore. I would also like to take this chance to thank Prof. K.K. Hua for his support and world scientific support, without which I think that it would have not been possible for us to gather all the material and publish the book in such a short time. Talking about pantuns, when I was first invited here, I was asked to give a speech. And as good Zainul would have it, he says that we need to start off with 2 pantuns. Saya kira kalau saya mengucapkan itu pantun, Anda semua juga harus itu kasih pelik 1 pantun. Kalau begini, mungkin kami semua tak ada kesempatan makan siang. For those of you who are not familiar, what I say was that what they didn't tell you about pantun is that in the tradition, the good tradition of the Malay Muslim, if I give you a pantun, by the end of my speech, you're supposed to give me back a pantun, right? And I'm supposed to give you another one as we continue the conversation. I was just saying that at this rate, none of us might have the chance to eat lunch after this. And I know many of you have an important event after this, another event. But instead of a pantun, I can give you a lyric or a poem. I must say that I wrote this at the spur of the moment, and my good cikgu, Zainul Safari, and his friends helped me to translate this. Aku dilahirkan di tepi pantai. Laut membawaku merantau jauh. Ombak membawaku ke tanah baru. Tanahnya menyuburkan akar tubuhku. Kenangan masa lalu berada di laut. Kehidupan masa depan berada di darat. Aku tua tetapi juga muda. Benih yang baru di dalamku senantiasa berada. Let me translate this in English for the non-Malay speaking audience. I was born by the shore. The sea carried us far and wide. The tide brought us to new shores. I blossom as the new land nourishes my roots. The sea connects me to my past. The land nourishes me for my future. I am both old yet new. A new generation of seeds will grow in me. And this is perhaps the story of our community and our Malay Muslim community as well. Technically, you will not be right to say that we have 50 years of history for the Malay and Muslim community. In fact, the Malay and Muslim community contributed much many, many years ago, even before the founding of Singapore. The Malay and Muslim community has always been an integral part of modern Singapore. Before the time of Sir Stamford Raffles, after the time of Sir Stamford Raffles, through the years that we were under the British colony rule, through the years where we were under the Japanese occupation, and so forth. The Malay and Muslim community is part and parcel of the history of Singapore. One can never talk about the history of Singapore, be it 50 years or 200 years, without talking about the Malay and Muslim contributions to modern Singapore. That is our history, our trials and tribulations together. If we take the last 50 years, we know how the Malay and Muslim communities have come together. We have gone through self-government together, subsequently merger with Malaya. Then we separated from Malaysia. We went through the race riots. We went through the oil crisis of the 1970s. We went through the economic crisis of the 1980s. We went through more financial crises in the 1990s and the 2000s. Through it all, we came out stronger and more united. Perhaps without all these trials and tribulations in our history, we would not have bonded so closely as one united community. Throughout this journey, we have distinguished Malay Muslim leaders who have helped us not only to grow and flourish the Malay Muslim community, but we have Malay and Muslim leaders who play a part in the growth and development of Singapore. We have heard of the contributions by our first president, Encik Yusof Ishak. We have heard of the story of the composer of our national anthem, Encik Zubir Said. And in more recent years, we have many Malay Muslim leaders who have contributed in one way or another in the field of community work, social work, political leadership, economics, finance, and so forth. And I would be very cautious to name a few, because for everyone I name, there will be many more that will be worthy of such acclamation. But I must say that today, the Malay and Muslim community is a mature one. We have seen the late Haji Abu Bakar Maidi, how he founded Jamia and grew it into one of the best NGOs serving the community today. We have seen how Syed Al-Sabah started the Prophet Muhammad Scholarship Fund to give tangible help to the Malay Muslim communities and for the students who have such potential and to aspire to reach greater heights. More recently, we have a speaker, Madam Halimah Yaakob, has been the first female speaker in Parliament. And in the other areas, we can be proud of our footballing son, Fandi Ahmad, and so forth. So indeed, today the Malay Muslim communities have many outstanding individuals that they can celebrate. But I must say this, today as we celebrate, we're not just celebrating the contributions and the work of individuals. We are also celebrating a very special aspect of the Malay Muslim community. And that is how our pioneers have been bold to build institutions suitable for Singapore and for the Singapore Malay Muslim community. You look around the world, you look around the region, there are not many countries with institutions like ours, like MUIS, Mendaki, Yayasan Mendaki, or the Sharia courts. These are institutions that were created to serve the needs of our Malay Muslim community. We would not have any of this if not for the foresight and the gumption of our pioneer generation of leaders, including many Malay Muslim leaders. It is these pioneer generations that came up with the ideas that dare to strike out on a uniquely Singapore path to create institutions for the unique needs of fellow Singaporeans. So, if there is one thing that we can learn from these leaders of ours, is that we must continue, be it the Malay Muslim community or the Singaporean community, to strike out on our own to create institutions that are timely and relevant to our needs. Because we want to create a distinct Malay Muslim community and a distinguished Malay Muslim community. We will draw strength from our history and our culture. Our history and our culture is that which gives us the ballast in times of difficulties and times of change. But the concept of a Malay Muslim identity in Singapore is not a static one. Instead, I believe it is an evolving one. Each generation of Malay Muslim leaders, each generation of Malay Muslim Singaporeans will add to this cultural identity of ours. And over time, this cultural identity of the Malay Muslim community also form part of the Singaporean identity. We must be confident that we have our own definition of success for the Malay and Muslim community. A definition of success not imposed by external parties without context, nor do we just subscribe to other people's definitions of success without appreciating our own strengths. And this is what I believe our Malay Muslim community will confidently do going forward. But in a larger context, we all share a common and a growing and deepening Singaporean identity. I have always said on many occasions, we all come from different race, language, and religious backgrounds. We do not have a common history per se. Unlike many nation states, we have never been able to, nor will we ever be able to, define our identity by a sense of common history, race, language, or religion. But perhaps because of this, it has given us an opportunity to instead define our Singaporean identity with a forward-looking one that is based on a common set of ideals, a vision of a united Singaporean, united yet diverse. One that sets us on the trajectory to say that while we may come from different shores, we can all have a set of common ideals. And what are some of these ideals that we have over the years? Meritocracy, the ability to recognize one's talent, regardless of one's ancestries nor connections. That in Singapore, so long as we are prepared to work hard, so long as we are prepared to make a contribution, then never mind where we come from, never mind the color of our skin or the language that we speak. Multiracialism is a respect for each other as equal. The respect translates into our actions to defend and enlarge the common space continuously. Incorruptibility, a fairness of access regardless of race, language, religion, as we share every day as we recite the pledge. And from all these values that we hold common to us, we develop the characteristics that define today's Singaporeans, which include our Malay Muslim community. Today, when we wave the little red passport anywhere in the world, we are the brand known to be trustworthy, efficient, and innovative. Trustworthy because people trust us to deliver on what we say we will. Efficient because they know that we will not cut corners, but yet we will find the best way to fulfill the services required from us by the rest of the world. Innovative because we will turn every constraint into an opportunity, be it the lack of water, be it the geographical constraint, as we talk about it now. In the past, economic growth and a better quality of life for people is always contingent on resources and the size of your population. Today in Singapore, as we go through the Committee for Future Economy, we are looking at how to transcend our geographical constraints. How we can use modern technology, how we can use connections to transcend the constraints of geography. If we can do that well as one big Singaporean community, we will have many more years, many more good years to look forward to. And SG 100 will be within our reach. And this is where there is much that our Malay and Muslim community can continue to contribute to the Singapore fabric for us to build a truly united nation, a truly united country that is united in our diversity. So last but not least, let me end off with another Malay poem. Aku hanya serat tali yang menipu semangat keturunan. Aku berjalin dengan serat lain Singapura. Kekuatan terletak pada persatuan. I am but a strand of fiber in a rope. I carry with me the strength of my ancestry. I am intertwined with my fellow fibers of our Singapore. Our strength is more than the sum of our parts. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a dream. We have a dream of a united Singapore with different communities, each remembering our past, never losing our past, yet never letting our past to solely define our future. We have a dream of a common future with a set of common values that speaks to all of us, regardless of race, language, and religion. That we have a goal to always keep defending and enlarging our common space to allow each and every generation to flourish even more than our own. As I always say, we aim never to go down in history as the best ever, but we always aim as a team to go down in history as having lent our shoulders to the next to stand taller and see further. And because we have this dream, we will never be complacent nor static. Forces around the world will continue to buffet us and challenge us, trying to define us in their ways. Like our forefathers, we must be bold to chart our own course, build our own institutions, and ultimately build a country where all of us are equal and all of us can be proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. We require you to know every area of the launch of the book, and may we request the special guest, Professor Guan, Simon and Dr. Sharon, to join us for the launch of 50 Years Majulah. Minister Chan, you will now launch the Majulah, 50 Years of Malay Muslim Community in Singapore. And Mr. Sana has joined us as well. By the count of 3, gentlemen, we will unveil the cover of 50 Years of Malay Muslim Community in Singapore. Minister Chan, 1, 2, and 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Majulah, 50 Years of Malay Muslim Community in Singapore. Professor Fuad, Susan, and Dr. Sharon will present the hard copy of the publication to our guest of honor, Mr. Chan Chun Sing. Also to receive the hard copy of the publication is our special guest, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim. Thank you, Minister Chan, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim, and our distinguished guests. You may take your seat. Thank you. Para hadirin yang kami hormati sekalian, telah sudah 50 years Majulah, 50 years of Malay Muslim community in Singapore, and we've come to the end of today's wonderful ceremony. We would like to thank the presence of our guest of honor, Minister of the Prime Minister's Office, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, and our special guest, Minister for Communications and Information, Minister in charge of Cyber Security, and of course, Muslim Affairs, Dr. Yaakob Ibrahim. Thank you, gentlemen, and our distinguished guests. A big hand to everyone. Now, on behalf of World Scientific Publication, we would also like to thank the National Book Development Council and the Arts House Singapore for their tremendous support. And let us now leave you with the performances from Isma Hayri and friends while you make your way for the tea reception outside. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.